Ready? On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. Yes, I was. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. Well, after 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. And the story you told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. Well, after 9 days, I let the horse run free, 'cause the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There were sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert with its life underground and the perfect skies above. Under the cities lies a heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. This is a newer song we're going to do. We're going to have the words for this one for y'all pretty soon to join in singing with us. It's called The Presence of the Lord is Here. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The Spirit of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. The wisdom of the Lord is here. The wisdom of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The wisdom of the Lord is here. The grace of the Lord is here. The grace of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The grace of the Lord is here. The love of the Lord is here. The love of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The love of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The power of the Lord is here. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. The wisdom of the Lord is here. The grace of the Lord is here. The love of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. Oh, oh, deep water, black and cold like the night. I stand with arms wide open. I've run a twisted time. I'm a stranger in the eyes of the Maker. I could not see for the fog in my eyes. I could not feel for the fear in my life. And from across the great divide, in the distance I saw a light. John Baptiste walking to me with the Maker. My body is bent and broken by long and dangerous sleep. I can't work the fields of Abraham and turn my head away. I'm not a stranger in the hands of the Maker. Brother John Have you seen the homeless daughters standing there with broken wings? I have seen the flaming swords there over east of Eden, burning in the eyes of the Maker, burning in the eyes of the Maker, burning in the eyes of the Maker. Oh, river, rise from your sleep. Oh, river, rise from your sleep.
Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Gulfport. It's my pleasure to be here and to be back home. My husband and I were traveling. We went all the way up to the top of New York and into Canada to see Niagara Falls, and it was magnificent. We also visited New York City and did everything at a pace like this and had a lot of fun there, and friends and family in Greenville, South Carolina, and then down to Florida. So it's great to be back. It's nice to see all of you, and thank you for allowing me to be here this morning, standing here speaking. I'm glad to see all of our favorite people, my favorite people. Shall we stand? We'll sing the opening song, Swing Wide the Doors.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper light. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Swing wide. If we can all just do that moment by moment. Let us pray. We open our hearts and minds to receive divine inspiration this morning at this very special place and time. May we allow Spirit to inform us of what is ours to release and what is ours to embrace. We open up, we release, we receive as Spirit moves in, around, and through us. We are grateful for this glorious morning and all those who are serving today of their gifts and talents. May the light of the I Am guide us and inform us always, and may we each be blessed in a special way. Amen. Again, welcome to Unity of Gulfport. Do we have any first-time visitors? No? We got two over here. Okay. Did you? Malia, welcome. And do we want to say anything about our other new visitor? All right, we're just going to say welcome and thank you for coming. We appreciate all of you. There is a welcome packet, and Janet will give those to those who are interested. You can sign up for our newsletter, and we will inform you about what's going on. So thanks again for being here. We appreciate it. We come together to affirm and celebrate our unity, our oneness with each other, and the source of all that is. And in the spirit of unity, let us pause to enfold in light and love all people in our community, in our world, and all those who have passed from our sight. The candle of unity signifies the light within each of us and our connection to the source of all that is. And so it is. Let us affirm our faith. I have faith that God is my instant, constant, and abundant supply. I have faith that God provides ways when to human sense there is no way. I have faith that God is guiding me in all ways. My health, happiness, and success are assured. And now let's sing In the Garden.
I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. Then he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
And to our announcements. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. And Tammy's sitting right there in the front row. I'm sorry, Tammy. She's going to read our daily word now.
Good morning. Today's daily word is the abundance of the world flows through me. I am securely in the flow of prosperity when I receive graciously and gratefully and share my abundance generously. Whatever I share with a loving, giving heart blesses me as much as it blesses the one who receives it. Each time I share of my supply, I am demonstrating my trust that I will always have what I need. When I share of myself, I am living my faith that I am a divine being empowered with a limitless supply of divine ideas. The richness of an abundant universe flows through me. Knowing this, I don't hesitate to be generous to others. I will know the abundance of the world as I know it. Through my giving, may they also know the blessings of the awesome power and grace of God as they bless me daily. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit that is from God, so that we may understand the gifts bestowed on us by God. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 12.
Thank you, Tammy. Okay, now for announcements. They are on the back of the bulletin and on the slide in front of you. And as a reminder, I don't know if any of these we need to speak about. Janet? Anything I need to pick out, or we just read them as they are? Oh, Friday night music. We might want to mention that. Coming up pretty soon, November 10th at 6 p.m. Please come. There's food and frivolity and laughter and great songs and fellowship. So please put that on your calendar, the 10th of November. What else? Everyone is invited to the fellowship hall after service for conversation and refreshments. Please join us. It's a great time to get to know people that maybe you haven't spoken to before. And now for prayer requests. If anyone has specific requests, we have a prayer box at the back of the room. There are forms there that you can fill out and place them in the box. They are prayed for here and also at Silent Unity. That's a powerful tool we have. And now Reverend Judy will come and speak about a time of contemplation. Reverend Judy.
Thank you, Joan, and good morning, everybody. Good to see you here, and so glad you've decided to attend, be here in person, and those online too. We're glad to have you with us. This morning, I know that many people will be wondering how Frank Bieber is doing, and I got in touch with his wife Sharon this morning so I would know the latest, and he did not sleep well last night. He was up at 3 a.m. with pain, and his pain is becoming harder to manage, and it's harder for him to be up now out of bed. And so we just regret that, wish that he were his same self, energetic, the most, and except for Matt. maybe the most energetic person in the room. And we certainly do regret that and hold Frank in our hearts this morning. Whatever that miracle is that life is bringing for him and for Sharon, his daughters, and their entire family, of course. And Roger's partner, Sheila, is in town for a few days. I saw her Friday, and she wanted me to pass on her thanks for all the love that everyone extended to Roger. All these years that he's been our friend, and then particularly while he was in the process of passing from this life to the next. We will have a celebration of life service for him here. Not certain yet when that will be, but we'll let you know as soon as we know. And just so glad to be here this morning. I've been in a bit of a joyful, I'm always in a joyful mood, but especially this morning, I just felt so almost giddy with excitement about being here and seeing each of you this morning, and knowing that some of you world travelers would be back. So glad to see you. Glad to have you back here and that you got back safely. We give thanks for that. We give thanks, too, for Charles. Thank you, Charles, for coming back, for being here, and your ability to be here. And we may not recognize how much work this is taking for him to be here. He had open heart surgery the last week in May, and how hard he's worked to get back here and getting his hands, his arms, his entire body in shape to do this. We appreciate it. We're grateful. We're grateful. Grateful to those that pitched in while he was out. Someone said it took 5 of us to take his place. And we did, didn't we? We did, thank you. Rick, Bob, Joan, everybody. And Sherry and Shelby for coordinating it and making it happen. We're grateful. We're grateful that we have so many people that love to serve, that even in that those that loved this place and loved Charles made it look seamless. Put in all the work and the effort to make that happen. Thank you. Thank you. We had an opening prayer this morning, and as we did that, we just prayed to God, those of us that were serving here on the stage. We opened with a prayer that the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts would be pleasing. And so it is that we set our intention this morning. As we have come into this place of sacred worship, of being here to experience and to express the divine through each of us right here on this earth. We just ask to be led, to be guided. We just ask that that invisible hand that guides all things would guide our hearts. Each of those moments when we need clarity, we just say, God, guide me now. I would ask to know what's mine to do, what you would have me do. We pray for that now, as we pray for wisdom. We give gratitude in advance for all the good coming our way. Amen.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world filled with chaos and joy. I awake to these precious moments when I hear that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find God. I find myself.
Very nice, thank you. Beautiful. Johnny Johnson is here for 3 weeks. Glad to see you, Johnny. He comes and stays a few weeks and then goes back home. Thank you. Sherry, you have an anniversary tomorrow, don't you? You and your husband. How many years? 31. She doesn't look old enough to have been married 31 years, does she? Congratulations. Congratulations. And it's good to see you, Pamela, that you're able to be here. Yeah. Been praying for healing for you too, continually. Okay, so this morning, talking about divine guidance, and then going to talk a little bit about how you can know if you're receiving divine guidance or if it's your own self just chattering away. Sometimes that's the hardest way to discern is whether it is the divine speaking to us. And then just a few tips for how you might be able to slow down and be at the pace that divine guidance comes. Just a few tips about that. So this morning, have you ever felt as if someone had turned the lights out on your life and gone home? You couldn't find guidance anywhere. I know we've all felt that at different times. This one woman said, "I'm not asking for much. All I want's a little guidance. A burning bush would be nice. A few words written in the sky, maybe. Some days I'd even settle for a particularly relevant fortune cookie. Please, God, just give me clarity in the midst of my confusion." But alas, I've yet to discover a message emblazoned on the horizon. I've never seen a burning bush, and my last fortune cookie instructed me to learn Chinese. Oh well. I know we've all been there. I know we have. We've been in places where we just didn't feel like we could find divine guidance. But the interesting thing is, we could. The truth is, no, that's all right, I'll get it, thank you. Appreciate it. The truth is that we live in Spirit's wisdom. Like the fish in search of water, we're swimming in it all the time, but just don't see it. Guidance is not something for which we have to grasp or push. It's something into which we align or attune. We must be in tune with it to have guidance. And all of us are being spoken to by God every minute, every hour. But don't you see, we're tuned to the wrong channel at times. And at times we are tuned to the right channel. You know how it is. You've been searching for a particular radio station and you've tried everything you could, and then you found out the cables were unplugged or something weird that had happened that has disconnected the channel, but it was always, always, always there. You just weren't aligned with it, or you just weren't in tune with it. So we could all be in tune with it. We all know what being in tune with that is like. You may feel like sometimes your feet are a foot off the ground. Serendipity. Synchronicities, whatever you want to call it. And then some days you just get up out on the wrong side of the bed. And you couldn't find divine will if it were standing right in front of you. What's the difference? It's typically your mood, isn't it? Whatever your frame of mind is. So we're going to listen. We're going to listen. Listen. Listening is the next step. We live in a fast-moving, multitasking world. And in her book, The Seven Whispers, Christina Baldwin says, we need to slow down and move at the pace of guidance. What does that say to you? She says speed is some guy running through the airport shouting into a cell phone. Anybody ever done that? Missing your flight? Missing something? You're running full speed ahead as if your life depends on it. You know, this is how traffic accidents occur, don't you? If you really look beyond the simple act of, well, that, sure, somebody pulled in front of somebody else, or somebody's going too fast, or somebody's doing this, that, or the other. When you really, really think about it, you'll be amazed. There have been studies done at why there are so few accidents, considering the number of vehicles on the road all the time. And you know what it is? It's because if we stay in rhythm with whatever is around us, we synchronize to that. Even those of you that drive 10 miles over the speed limit, and you know who I'm talking about, Dan. You, not to draw anybody out, but he's told me a lot of times it's those of us that drive the speed limit are the ones that cause the wrecks. Why? Because we are out of harmony with everyone else. Isn't that interesting? It's an interesting concept, but as long as you are in harmony and in synchrony with, and you're going at the speed everyone else is going, that's why there aren't any more accidents than there are. There have been a lot of studies about it. But what happens is someone decides to go 90 instead of 70 or 75, and someone's in a hurry and they're not paying attention, and so they're not paying attention to the rhythms around them, and that's where the accidents occur, or just not paying attention, or you have a little slow poke on the road that's going 30 miles an hour, and the next thing you know, those that are driving the speed plow into them. But I just use that as an example of, we have those examples all around us when we're not in harmony or we're not in synchronization with the rest of the world. And we know that. So back to the pace of guidance. When we move at the pace of a 3-year-old, we start noticing everything around us. Instead of running through an airport with a phone to our head, which there are a lot of people that do that. They do it every day of their lives. A lot of people do. You imagine what's happening to their body. You just imagine. We wonder why we have indigestion, acid indigestion, because all that stress and anxiety is being pushed right down into your stomach. You might say, I got a knot in my stomach. Well, that's what it is. It's all that anxiety that you're pushing in there. That's exactly what it is. But let's go back for a moment. What if, and Baldwin calls it moving at the pace of guidance. Pace is going around the block with a 3-year-old and noticing everything the child is noticing. When we move at pace, we have time to question, time to listen for answers before moving on. When we move at the pace of guidance, it occurs to us to wonder what plans the divine might have for us. The plans we might have for ourselves. I know we've all been there at different times in our lives, and I spoke about it a little bit last week at the fact that when we're our children are small, and we're raising our children. We may be working a full-time job as well. It's stressful. We'll find many, many things in our lives that are stressful. And in those moments, we don't pay much attention to internal guidance. We don't pay any attention to it at all. Because why? Because we're outer focused. Now, more and more young people are waking up to that, and they're beginning to wake up earlier and earlier, and even when their children are small, they're beginning to say, wait a minute, how can I be inner focused? How can I teach my children to be inner focused? And how can they grow up to be that way instead of having to learn it when they get to middle age? Let's learn it now. And so what's happening is people are recognizing that sooner. And they're recognizing that they don't want to, like it was in the 90s, that so many countries were competing in technology, and they were finding that workers were working so many hours that they were needing to have a cot at work. They didn't even go home. I remember a lot of that, the competition in the 90s between all the technical firms, all the stress that they had, the illness. And many people now are, the illnesses in their bodies that they're dealing with came from that stress. And it's all in being outer focused. And what we're teaching here is to become inner focused and focused on the inner world, the inner kingdom, and then we'll know what to do in the outer world. And I don't know about you, but I want to live fully. I want to love both worlds. I want to enjoy the physical, my family, my friends, the travel, going places. I want to have it all. I want to be joyful in this world right here, right now, and experience this too, but also have enough time in my life to experience that connection that I have to God. And after all, it's that connection that allows me to be joyful right now. And to have the peace that goes beyond understanding, that tells us that we can have the kingdom right now. We can have the peace of mind that tells us that the eternal world is ours whenever it's right and appropriate. And it's actually what our friend Frank has said so many times, and he's proving this with this prognosis that he has right now. He was one of our speakers this summer for this summer interview series. He read the Daily Word several times, and every time he was so inspirational and just telling us to let go of all the worries in the outside world, and what the thing that matters is your connection with God. And he is living that truth right now, getting as bad a prognosis as anyone, difficult one, as anyone could be handed. And he's done it with joy. And he's walking the talk. And we salute him right now. Maybe a little sadly. And that's one of my rights at being human, is I get to be sad sometimes at the loss of someone that I love. And I claim that. And I want to walk this earth as being fully human and accepting my spiritual self too. Are you continually running against time? And I want you to really ask yourself that this morning. Whatever stage you find yourself in life, wherever, are you continually running against time? Are you finding time to carve out to be at peace, to have time in the stillness so that you can find God? That was a perfect selection of a song, by the way, in the stillness. I find peace. I find love. I find God. That was perfect. Perfect. We must also be open-minded. And I want to ask you that this morning. Are you open to change? Are you open and receptive to something different? Richard Carlson, in his book, 5 Principles for Keeping Life in Perspective, spoke of the need to be open-minded. He said that we all think we are, but many times we're not. He gave an example of a couple at home, and they're each reading the newspaper. And one is convinced that the world is going to heck in a handbasket. And so everything that the one reads and sees on television is something that will confirm his or her particular viewpoint. You see, there are other articles out there that would question that, but he or she is not willing to read it. So he or she will put that newspaper down, and they will say to their spouse, they will affirm to their spouse, whatever it was, that one article that just confirms, this validates my opinion on this. And you know what I'm talking about. We've all done it. We've all done it. You may even have someone in your life that does it, and you know that there were 5 articles in that newspaper that were positive, but the one that wants confirmation, validation, will find the one article that has what they were looking for that proves the negative. We know that. It's just the way it works. It's the way it is with humanity. We're humans. Humans in need of validation. Desperately looking for validation wherever we can find it. And we know that. We know that. No one has to tell you. No one has to tell you that. So you've already got your mind made up, if that's the case. And so negative thought processes just continue on, and they're going to continue on, and you may keep that with you till the day you pass on to the next life, and that's okay too. Sad thing about that is, if reincarnation is true, you're going to wake up with that that same negative concept in the next one, and you'll get to work on it again. So there you go. You can work on it now or later. So you just do whatever you choose. So you can't access your internal navigation system if you're closed-minded. You just can't do it. You've already got your mind made up. You're not willing. You are not willing to hear the other side. You're just not going to. So I hope that if you've got your mind already made up, you'll be willing to see that and notice, like that little 3-year-old. Notice. Notice. And speaking of synchronization, a new studies found that audience members' heart and breath rates can synchronize. They even start moving similarly in their chairs when enjoying a classical music concert together. You know that, right? It's true. We all know that. We start to synchronize with the energy around us. And what happens is if you are with people where there's a big energy leak and you feel like you are being drained all the time, well, you are. And pretty soon you'll start finding a way to surround yourself with people where you will feel energized instead of drained. So this is what happens. And here's the beauty of coming to a place like this on Sunday morning. We teach positive thinking. We teach positive being. We teach that you can change your life by changing your way of thinking and your way of being. You can. And you have choice. You always have choice. I don't care if the worst thing in the world has happened to you in the next moment or wherever you can think clearly, you do have a choice. And so you can choose to be in harmony with good, or you can choose to be in harmony with the negative. And you'll find enough of that out there, truly you will, that you can live in harmony with that. But it's not going to get you where you want to go if you want peace of heart and mind. It's not going to get you there. It's just not. So attuning. Here's where we're going to talk about attuning to Spirit's wisdom. Requires us to be open and willing to align ourselves with that. And we generally know if we're aligning ourselves that's something negative. It's the ego looking for something to complain about. Somebody to blame, to prove someone wrong. But Spirit doesn't do that. Spirit wants to rejoice in the well-being of others. Spirit wants to rejoice in good going on in the world. Never rejoices in someone else's pain. Never. Never. So what is spiritual guidance? Intuition, signs, inner knowing, a voice. And if we will be in tune with God, Spirit, love, the higher guidance, if we will be in tune with this, it can always make us remember how it has felt in the past where we've been in tune with love and joyful. We'll hold that in our hearts and we'll say, I want to feel that again. I want to feel good. I want to feel God. I want to feel joy. And so the more we want to feel that and hold on to that, then we recognize that's who we become. And then when you become aligned with God, that's where you will find your guidance. Ego tends to be loud. It will reinforce separation. Ego encourages doubt. Spirit encourages confidence and trust. So we listen. And going back to Miss Baldwin and the pace of guidance. If you will, slow down. Slow down. And I guess what I would do here, I would encourage someone that had a job where they had to run through the airport every morning, or maybe even once a week, with a cell phone glued to their heads. Can't possibly miss this meeting. Can't possibly miss this phone call. I would encourage you to rethink where your priorities are. That's what I would encourage you to do. Because in the end, the money isn't going to matter a bit. It really isn't. At the end of your life, the money's not going to matter. All that's going to matter is looking back and seeing how much joy and peace you found in your life. So if you're one of those people that's always running from one place to another, I would encourage to rethink that. And I know at different times in our lives we felt like we needed to do that. And I'll see we all do. We see people all over the place in a coffee shop, excusing themselves from a casual conversation, glancing to their phone. Oh, sorry, I got to get this. Or couldn't possibly leave their phone in the car. Well, they had an honest-to-goodness conversation with the person they're sitting across from. So I guess those are some of the things I would ask you to think about. If that's the pace that you're going at and you don't have time to have a face-to-face conversation with someone without glancing at your phone every few seconds, I'd encourage you to relook at that. Decide where you're overdoing. And a lot of us do overdo. We overreach. We try to do more than we have time for comfortably. And even if you feel like you're letting some organization down by saying, I can no longer do this, your heart is telling you what you need to do. What you need to do is find your primary priority, whatever that is. Find your primary priority or priorities. It may be like me, my job here, it's not a job. The gift you've given me in allowing me to serve here. Thank you. Thank you for this. This is my joy and my privilege that I'm able to do this, and I thank you for that. And my family, my goodness, I put them right up there. They're a priority. Anybody that knows me knows that too. My husband joked this morning. I said, because he's having knee surgery, he's having knee replacement surgery this Wednesday. And by the way, Tammy is speaking next Sunday. This lovely lady right here. She has spoken at other Unity churches and hasn't spoken here. And I said, well, why? We're going to give you that opportunity. But my husband, Dan, and I haven't talked about him yet, so he's probably feeling neglected. But he said this morning, or I said, well, of course, you're in my prayers. I'm praying for a miracle Wednesday morning. And of course, you're my priority on my prayer list. He just laughed out loud. He said, we know that's not true. I'm down at like 7 or 8 on your priority list. And I just reminded him what a friend said to me once, many, many, many years ago. And she said to her son, they were having some real difficulties with their 2 teenagers. And he was ready to pitch them out. And she was having nothing to do with it, of course. And she said, John, let me give you a word of advice. Don't ever, ever come between me and my kids. Don't make me choose. I had a lot of respect for her, and I always have since then, because he was pretty domineering, and it surprised me when she told me that. really surprised me because I didn't know she was that strong, but she was. But I got off track. I was talking about slowing down, going at the pace of guidance, because you cannot hear if you're running anywhere. You're running too fast. You will not hear guidance. It's just like jet lag. We all know what it feels to have come across several time zones, a dozen maybe, and what it feels like when you arrive, and your body arrives before your consciousness does. And we've always not known how to put words to that, but we sure knew how it felt. And so many times what we're doing too in running through life is we're running so fast that we can't even identify our consciousness. All we're seeing is the outer world and how it works and how we fit into it. And we're not connecting to the inner. So I would ask, how can I carve out time from my busy schedule in order to hear God? God may be yelling at me right now, and I'm so busy, I can't hear it. So we just pray this morning for each and every person in this building and those online and everyone that's going to hear this later. We just pray. We pray that you will move at the pace of guidance and that you will allow yourself to hear that guidance and allow that invisible hand to guide you wherever you go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. Guidance, something we all long for, we all live for. Oftentimes when I'm ending my meditation, the words of guidance comes, always go to your heart. I try to live by those words, always go to the heart. And now we give expression to our appreciation for all that's offered here at Unity of Gulfport. Please take your offering in your hand and say along with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust in God.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May your feet be watered by gentle rain. God hold you in his hands until we meet again. We are sisters, we are brothers, we are bound to each other to love one another. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. God hold you in his hands until we meet again. And may God hold you in his hands until we meet again. And may God hold you in his hands until we meet again.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. We're so grateful for these gifts so lovingly given. We just ask that these gifts be multiplied tenfold for the giver and the receiver, heaped up, pressed down, and running over. Amen. Come on down, children. We are going to, or youth. We're going to bless you. Come on down, Luke. You haven't been here in forever. You kids. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We hold the Christ in you, empowering you to do great things. And so it is. Thank you.
Let there be peace on